Are we ready for my first, possibly most strange idea or concept to throw at you for 2026? Yes. Yes, 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 you are. Well, I am so glad that you said yes. Okay, I have helped hundreds, probably thousands of people actually manage their money. And I see the same thing happen every year, Jan, Feb, sometimes even March. And that is that we put so much pressure on ourselves to fully evolve and sort of radically change that we buckle under the pressure. And so I recently learned about it in 2025, and I've been wanting to talk about it, but I thought this is the right time to talk about it. I want to talk to you about this concept, and I don't think this is the scientific term, but like you can agree or disagree, and like don't come at me if you're a biologist and you're like, actually the scientific term is some Latin thing. Sure. But there is a term used, I believe, predominantly for penguins called a catastrophic molt. Let me explain. Okay, this is from the Deep Sea News, whoever they are. There's multiple sources, but I thought this one was the most easiest to understand. It says, during penguin molting, every single baby feather on their body is replaced with a new adult one. This process is often called a catastrophic molt because all of their feathers are replaced at once. And their scruffy look, it's because the old feathers won't fall out until the new ones have completely grown in. But what really got me beside the awkwardness is the unique patterns of the feather loss. And you can see all these different photos of like them at different stages in their catastrophic molt, and they just look disheveled. And like, is that not such a metaphor for growth, where you think you're just going to look pristine and everything's going to look perfect because you're changing and evolving, and actually you just look like you need a good old wash and that everything might just be falling apart, but actually under there, new life, new growth is emerging. It's just in the process, it looks a bit diabolical. I don't know, I just found that was quite a good metaphor for how I have felt during times of immense and tremendous growth. But I think the point here is that allegedly other birds, they'll lose like a couple of feathers at a time, but penguins need to stay insulated. They need to make sure that they are waterproof so that they don't die of hypothermia, presumably. And so they do it in one big foul swoop, pun intended. And I think that is what we try to do in January. We try to get rid of every single bloody feather that we've got and grow new, bestest ones all at one time. Like we can just, I don't know, hope and pray that overnight everything will just happen all at once. Because isn't that how we think it's going to work? We make dreams and plans as fireworks are erupting, and that we hope the next day we are that version, like we've just gone to bed and miraculously everything can just sort of evolve instantaneously. God, if only. We cannot build all our new feathers to be fully grown all at one time, instantaneously. That is not, unfortunately, how growth works. Except for penguins who, through that process, look, I implore you to go and Google catastrophic molt of penguins, and you will just feel less alone as you are feeling disheveled whilst you too are evolving and growing. So I guess why I am saying that is because I want you to not start a new year and put so much bloody pressure on yourself to do everything all at once that you give up. Because that is the catastrophe that I see with goal setting. That you're giving up because it's too much, it's too hard, it's overbearing, and you have put an unrealistic amount of pressure and expectation on yourself at one time. So rather than having us backfire our goals or having it backfire in our face, I want you instead to be gentle and think about what the run-up could look like. So before the break, I talked to you about this identity concept to achieve the outcome that we want, and that process and habit piece in the middle. So setting an identity now, or thinking about who it is that you want to become with your money in a really authentic way. This doesn't need to be, I want to become someone who is a complete departure from me, but using our values, like who is it that we want to identify as? I want to be known as the person that does this for myself. I think it needs to be a really intrinsic ideal, not I want the world to see me as this, because I think that becomes very facade-y and shield-y, and I think we have a lot of that already. It needs to be really led, in my opinion, from who do I want to be more of this year. You probably already have that within you. And if you don't have any of that within you yet, really challenge why you want to become this different version of you. Maybe it's time to change. Maybe you're trying to do it to be completely departed from who you've ever been. And thinking through whether that's the right thing or not is probably worth doing some deep thinking about this year. All the thinking. We're just doing all the thinking. Now is the time to think. While we're like probably languishing on a lounge somewhere, still eating whatever we've been eating for the last few weeks, now is the time to do some of that deep thinking in between our little naps. But as we set those habits to get us to the outcome that we want, why don't we pick how we're going to ramp up rather than trying to do them all at once, which I have been so guilty of trying to do? Why don't we figure out for the next 7 days, here is one habit or one shift I'm going to make. Or maybe it's for the next 30 days. For the month of January, this is what I'm committing to. And then think about stacking or layering on those different habits and outcomes. Don't catastrophically malt all at once. I've watched too many people do it. You can do it. I've seen people do it, but goodness me, they don't fare well. They don't have a great time. They do it and they probably just feel like that wasn't the right way to do it because it was really hard and it took so much energy and effort, and they had a lot of stumbles and probably a lot of emergency panicked phone calls and whines and cries. So you can do it. But if you know that you've tried that in the past and it hasn't worked, then why are we still trying to do the same thing that hasn't worked for us before? If we think about the next 12 months, what does that stacking and layering look like? Because if you can nail one thing and give your brain the confidence that I am doing it, look at me go, look at my progress, that dopamine hit that you're going to get is going to feed and help you get to the next level. Rather than trying to do everything at once and then your brain going, oh my God, I didn't run that bazillion kilometer run today like I promised I would. I didn't get 10 and a half hours sleep and drink God knows how many liters of water. I'm failing. That is not the motivational energy that we need this year, my friends. We want to be like, okay, I'm going to walk X amount of steps per day. And when you can prove to yourself that that's achievable and that you've actually done that, then you can go, great, now I'm going to start adding the run on. I don't know why I keep talking about running. I have absolutely no interest in running and I'm not a runner. So like, who am I to share any running ideas with you? But I think it's, one that's pretty common in goal setting terms. What does that mean for your money? So if you know that you've never saved money before and you want to start investing, we've got a long journey and that is okay. You can layer it on. You don't have to do everything all at once. We are taking this idea of catastrophic malt and we are telling everyone in January, don't be over there catastrophically malting all at once. People are going to be like, what on earth are you on about?